What is happening, YouTube? It's Mr. Chillout here, and I'm back with another Horde 3.0 video. In this video I'm going to be giving you some tips, tricks and tactics to boss in a boss wave and to help you have more fun with the game. So let's get into this biatch. So if you're new to Gears, you may not know what the boss wave is all about, but if you're a veteran to the series, you will know all too well what I'm talking about. The infamous boss wave graces us with its presence every 10 waves and normally brings a tanked up bullet sponge to the round. Now, we've all been there and created a nice base, got everything in order just for the boss wave, and then BAM! Everything is ruined within one round. You all go down, you all die, you lose all your energy, and you get deflated. You've then got to try and rebuild your base back to what it was on limited funds, which is almost impossible, especially on the later rounds. So I thought I'd put together a video of some tips and tricks that me and my friends do when we're playing Horde 3.0. Now this is going to be more of a general kind of video, giving you the strengths and weaknesses of the bosses and the general tactics for taking them down as quickly as possible. I will be making a video very soon on the best team build to boss a 50 wave, and also another video on how to set up your classes to help you and your team out the best way possible. So the first thing you need to know is the 4 different bosses you have the chance of meeting within your game. Firstly, you have the helicopter Kestrel. And then there's the Supremecy. Next we have the Carrier. And lastly, my least favourite of them all, the Snatcher. Each boss brings different pros and cons to the table, but one general rule of thumb is they can take a lot of damage, completely wreck your base and basically cause havoc wherever they go. So the first general tactic that I will say for any boss wave stems from the beginning of your game, and that is get the location of your fabricator right. You want to be putting it in a good area where 1, the bosses can't even get into because they're too big to get in, or 2, you have enough choke points that you can all focus fire on that specific area and take it down as quickly as possible. Another general tactic, which you don't always have full control over unless you're playing with your friends, is having the right team build. You don't want to all be going sniper classes, because even though you can give out loads of precision weapon damage, if things get up close and personal or you need turrets, you're basically screwed. If you are playing with other people, have a look at what classes they are, but you don't want too many of a certain class to give you weaknesses elsewhere. You want to have a bit of an all-round team to give you the best chance of taking down your bosses. I mean, once again, Horde is a team game. You can't one-man it, so you need to use your team to your advantage. Which sort of leads on to my next general tip is don't be Rambo. Don't be running and gunning, because you're going to go down, and once you go down, your team is then one man down. And against the boss where you got enemies and the boss, it's not the greatest situation to be in. So play conservatively, hold together with your team, and basically just don't be a dick. So now it's time to move on to the bosses themselves. First up we have Kestrel. Kestrel is a DB helicopter that, in my opinion, is one of the easiest bosses to conquer. Kestrel isn't exactly the fastest moving enemy, and being so high up in the air allows for a good view of him the majority of the time. Kestrel has 2 attacks, his machine gun on the front and a missile barrage. Now, if you're caught out in the open, these can be very unforgiving. However, behind cover, they are not very effective. His missile attacks seem to be very inaccurate the majority of the time, but if you do get caught by the explosion, chances are you're going to get downed, so you need to watch how you move. The best tactic against Kestrel is to have a base with overhead cover. It will take away his height advantage on you, and where he can do his missile barrage down onto you, and always use your cover effectively whilst against Kestrel. In terms of his weakness, the best place to aim on him is the little vents below the blades. Precision weapons are very effective at targeting these vents, and a turret can be very helpful, but a turret can leave you a bit in the open and vulnerable to the rocket barrage. Heavy weapons will also be very helpful with giving you splash damage against Kestrel, but they can be a bit harder to use, especially the boom shot with its arced shot. The drop shots won't give you enough height, and the turrets are good, but whilst you're using them, you're very stationary, so you are vulnerable to his attacks. All in all, you just want to aim your fire on Kestrel and use your cover to your advantage, and you'll come out the other side. Up next, we have the Supremecy, which is basically a roided up version of the Marc from the previous games. He is a dinosaur with firepower. Although he has slow movement speed, he most definitely makes up for this with his devastating attacks. His arm-mounted chain gun will rip you to shreds, and his rocket barrage is extremely powerful and will take down turrets and players in one shot. The best tactic against the Swarmak is to firstly not bunch together. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Because of the high damage of his rockets and wide splash damage, he can take out an entire team in one barrage. Due to his hefty size, bases with small entrances and overhead cover will keep the Swarmak out of the base and at bay. His weakness is the glowing boils on his body. Aim any weapons you have at these. When they explode, it temporarily stops him from moving and shooting. The best guns to aim at these are turrets. They will wreck the Swarmak, but beware of his barrage when you're on a turret. Because you're stationary, he can and will kill you. And heavies with explosive weapons are highly effective against a Swarmak, aiming at more than one boil at a time. So they're two of the things that you want in your team whilst going up against one of these bosses. Up next we have the Carrier, which is ultimately the tank of all the bosses. His thick armoured skin allows the Carrier to take a whole lot of damage without being phased. Extremely slow moving, but really devastating up close and personal. But he also has got a long distance attack as well. The Carrier will walk through and wreck your base defences in one fell swoop if you allow him to get close enough. The Carrier has two primary attacks. If close enough, he will slam his hefty arms down onto you, crushing you with ease. Or, if you're downed, he'll pick you up and smash you into the floor, both leading to not a very nice death. The other attack is his floating, heat-seeking sperm attack. These are ultimately a vessel filled with an acid-like substance that can down you very quickly and lock onto your heat signatures. It is also good to know that these actually can be shot by the players when they're up in the air, so it can stop them from even getting to you in the first place. The best tactic for the Carrier is to keep him at a nice distance. With the space between you, his melee attacks are non-existent, so all you've got to focus on is the sperms in the air, but you can shoot them before they get to you. The best time to go on a full-out attack is when his chest is opened, when he's doing his sperm thing. His fleshy inside is his main weak spot. Turrets are highly effective at taking out the sperms and giving him damage when he opens his chest, along with explosive damage from heavies. Snipers can work well, but because of the slow reload time between shots, you can only get 1 or 2 shots off before his chest closes up. Ultimately, the whole team want to be attacking when his chest is open. In normal combat, he is basically a bullet sponge and he'll take a lot of damage before he dies. And finally, we have the bane of my life, the Snatcher. I hate this boss with a passion. Very quick, very powerful, can bypass all your base defences, get in your face and just do so much damage. They also love to come in pairs, so chances are you will get 2 of these in a boss wave. The Snatcher's attacks come in 3 types. The first is an acid-like substance that he'll either spit from his mouth like being sick, or he'll fire with a projectile from his tail. And this can down you very quickly, even if you are behind cover, so beware when he does shoot this out. The next attack is a melee attack, where he slams his front claws into the ground. This will devastate base defences and players. It is very powerful. And lastly, the icing on the cake is its ability to eat downed teammates and run away with their body just to digest and rub in your face. Because of the extreme speed of the Snatcher, it makes it very, very hard to keep it at bay. The best tactic against the Snatcher is to run, hide in a corner and wait for it all to blow over, because they're little bitches. But in all seriousness, the best tactics against the Snatcher is for everybody on your team to be on the same page and go hell for leather. 2 turrets minimum are very, very handy in halting the Snatcher. They tend to attack one of the turrets, leaving the rest of your team just to focus fire on the Snatcher and do a lot of damage. Now, they're not exactly the strongest of all the bosses in terms of taking damage, but it's because of their speed and efficiency at killing that makes them such an adversary. The Snatcher's weakness is its lower underbelly, and this is the area you want to focus on with your turrets, snipers, heavies, basically your whole team just need to aim at this glowing area. It's also good to note that when a teammate is eaten by the Snatcher will back away while digesting them, so it won't attack. And also, if you cause enough damage to its belly, your teammate will be released. All in all, you just want to be a team when you're up against a Snatcher and just all go for it. It's the only way to get them down quickly and out of your face. So there we have it. There are some of the tactics that me and my pals use when we're playing Horde. and these tactics have helped us 50 wave hardcore between only 3 of us, so they are tried and tested. Before signing off, there's one last thing to remember. If you take out a boss very quickly, chances are another boss will spawn in that same wave. I have actually seen 3 snatchers spawn in one boss wave before, and they did a lot of damage to the base, but we managed to hold our own. So don't ever take a quick kill on a boss for granted. Anyway, that's all for this video. If you found it helpful, don't forget to give the video a big thumb in. If you feel I've missed out on some of the points, leave a comment below. And to keep up to date with all my new content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And until next time, laters.